Hey guys. Um, it's been like a year since I've done any form of content creation for the most part. I don't regret that. Overwatch has been in an awful state for years, and so I'm surprised that I still managed to pump out videos. I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago. But this is kind of like the official goodbye to Overwatch 1. Um, I've been ready for Overwatch 2 to come out for years since it was announced. I am surprised and not surprised that it took this long to even get the PvP out. I think their leadership changes needed to happen way sooner, and there's been a lot of mismanagement. But I'm glad that we're on the right path with the game finally. It's just been way too long. I don't even know if I'll come back and be able to do any form of like full-time content creation, but I would still like, maybe if the frequency allows, at least this winter, to actually commit to doing more, because the game will actually have content. That was the other problem, is that like I think I made an announcement video like I'm coming back, and then like I left like a few months later immediately after. As long as there's content to like actually make, I'm just very wary of all of the burnout. And I'm saying that because I've burned out with my own job. And like this is my busy season, so like I'm gonna be burning out until Halloween and then some. Because if November like books up, then I don't really get a break until the winter time, just because summer and fall are just unbelievably busy. And so I don't know, I'm hopeful that things will work out. I don't know. I'm not even entirely sure why I'm making this. Maybe part of it is a feeling of trying to grasp something back with the community again. I feel like I invested so much time into Overwatch 1 that I can't quite let it go, because there is so much. I don't even want to say nostalgia, because it's not like it's been a really long time, but there's definitely a deeply rooted attachment for the franchise, especially between the characters and the gameplay and the community. Especially, I think we have an awesome community with many exceptions, but that's every community. I don't know. I would like to do more networking. That's been the thing that's on my mind lately with coming back and trying content creation again, is like the networking part of it, and wanting to actually make content with other people, not just myself, which is hard. Because networking by itself is already difficult digitally to a degree. It's easy because it's accessible, but it's difficult because where do you look? Who do you go for? Like, there's so much. Maybe I'm overthinking it. um, yeah, I don't know. I've been busy. I've been doing a lot of work. Wrote some plays. Wrote a musical. That's not gaming related, but I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2. I've kind of fallen off Rocket League for a while. There's only so much I can play a game like that. But Overwatch with the beta pulled me in a little bit, but because it was a beta, it was hard for me to fully invest myself into it, knowing that it was just going to be gone, a week later. So I'm looking forward, at least this winter, I'll have time to actually invest. It's unfortunate that Overwatch 2 is launching in a couple of days here, and I'm gonna be in the middle of like my busiest work period, so I'm not really gonna be able to do much. But I don't know, I thought I'd make this and check in, and if there's anybody actually still around. I doubt it. This video will probably get like 10 views, which is okay. Yeah, we'll see. I'm very hopeful, but they can't take they can't. I mean, I don't think what happened with Overwatch 1 will happen with Overwatch 2, simply because the monetization model is different. The leadership is kind of changing hands now. It's kind of make or break for them, and they've got an amazing franchise. I think if they can actually hit the crowd that they need to like have a resurgence. It's so tough. Gaming right now is very difficult for me getting into games, because there's so many that I feel like are being failed. Like, I think Nintendo and Game Freak have like really dropped the ball on Pokemon the past like decade. I mean, every game has always had its problems, but it's like it doesn't feel like any studio's actually like aware, like have that. I feel like none of them have any awareness for their fans, for the game they're making, and that's frustrating as a consumer, right? Like we're all consumers of all of these amazing games and stories, and there's a lot of frustration when we don't feel like we have any control over like franchises that we love, and we only want the best. It feels so much like Disney's handling of like Star Wars. Like honestly, just like being like, they'll love it, and then like now they're in a really interesting situation where they kind of dropped the ball on 3 movies and a series or 2, and I don't know if some of these bigger studios are gonna realize how negative of an impact their mismanagement is for games and movies and everything in general. So if I come back, I don't think it would necessarily be gameplay focused. I think conversation has always been my biggest love when it comes to content. Like I streamed on Twitch consistently for like maybe a month, but it wasn't Overwatch. It was a small game. But my favorite part of that was just talking with people and getting to know people and having all sorts of conversations. So I would want to go for that. I don't know how I would make that work. Maybe it's just conversational clips with gameplay. I don't really know. But I don't see a lot of that. And that's the other thing, is that like I feel like gaming content, especially like PvP related stuff, you can only watch somebody pop off so many times before you're like, all right, like nice job. Maybe that's just me. And if it's just me, that's totally fair. But I felt this way with, Overwatch and Destiny 2, which I love very much as well. And it's hard to like watch kind of the same plays, the same. I don't know. I think if I ever did, like for me, at least streaming, it's the conversation that is way more interesting than the actual gameplay, but I'm also highly competitive. I think I could get really good with Zen and Kiriko in Overwatch 2 and maybe climb with those. I'll have a lot of time to figure that out. But I'll think about it. What kind of content what kind of content do you want to watch? Like, I think if I did any form of gameplay, I don't see myself doing guides unless I like actually hit a top placement or like a top spot playing a specific character, or if I actually like I don't anticipate myself becoming like the number one, whatever hero. Even as much as anyone would like to aspire to do that, there are far more talented players. So, well, I've rambled on for not too long. that it would have been longer. But I hope everyone is doing okay. If you're still around for Overwatch 2, I'm so glad you stuck around. If you're not, you're probably not even watching this video, which is also okay. Overwatch really lost a lot of people, and I understand it. And if people aren't in the community anymore or have an interest, that's totally fair. And I only wish that things had gotten better sooner. But things are at least turning around, or seeming to turn around, and I think they've taken a lot of the right steps. I think they've taken some pretty large steps and maybe some positive leaps from what we're seeing, but the game will be here soon. And we'll see what happens.